So picture this scenario for a second. You're halfway through a run, or maybe you're just 3 hours into a really grueling shift where you're constantly on your feet all day.
Yeah, that heavy kind of leg fatigue.
Right, exactly. And you're wearing this brand new piece of athletic gear, like maybe it's a sleek, high-tech looking knee brace or some kind of premium ankle support.
The kind that looks amazing online.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Online, it looked like a piece of like a sci-fi exoskeleton, and the packaging it arrived in was that heavy, matte black, totally premium cardboard.
Sure, very expensive looking.
But right now, in the actual physical reality of your day, it is completely failing you. I mean, it's slipping down your calf, the rigid plastic accents are pinching the back of your leg, and ironically, your joint hurts even more than it did before you put it on.
It's an incredibly visceral, frustrating experience.
It really is. And that exact frustration is actually the focal point of our deep dive today. We're exploring a collection of source materials that outline the philosophy behind a rising athletic brand called ENKII Sport. But, this isn't just about one brand. We're using these materials as a sort of lens to examine a massive, almost seismic shift happening across the entire athletic and recovery gear space.
Which is, frankly, a transition that is long overdue in this industry.
Yeah, a fundamental rebellion against all that flashy marketing, right?
Okay.
Moving toward authentic, user-created performance gear.
Exactly, because when you strip away the branding, what we're really analyzing today is a fascinating case study in the actual mechanics of physical recovery and how modern consumer culture has actively worked against it.
Yeah.
The materials we're looking at, they present a really harsh critique of a market that has drifted remarkably far from its original medical and biomechanical purpose.
It's all aesthetics now.
It is. We're being forced to examine this massive gap between the aesthetic we are sold on a screen and the structural support our joints and muscles actually require when they're subjected to real-world physical stress.
No, okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because the source material goes incredibly hard on the current state of the athletic support market, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It asserts that consumers have spent years emptying their wallets for premium prices, but we aren't actually buying better gear.
Right.
We are, we're buying logos.
Just funding celebrity endorsements.
Right. Massive marketing campaigns. And while the gear looks phenomenal in a glossy Instagram ad, the actual comfort, the structural durability, the real recovery experience has just been profoundly disappointing.
Well, yeah.
I was actually thinking about this earlier. Buying gear based entirely on a celebrity endorsement is, it's a lot like buying a professional chef's hat and expecting it to automatically improve your knife skills.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. Like you put the hat on, you look the part in the mirror, but you still don't know how to chop an onion. It's all image, no function. But my question to you is, does a shiny aesthetic actually make the product worse? Or are we just overpaying for mediocre gear?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the materials suggest it's actually the former. The focus on aesthetics actively degrades the functionality.
Wait, really? It makes it worse.
Yeah, think about the psychological conditioning at play here. The source text explicitly highlights this disconnect between products that, quote, look good online and products that perform when your body actually needs them.
Right.
Over time, when an entire industry saturates the market with hype, aesthetic appeal just becomes the heuristic. It's the mental shortcut that consumers use to judge quality.
So we see a famous athlete wearing like a neon accented sleeve or whatever.
Exactly. And because we don't have degrees in biomechanical engineering, our brains just assume that visual complexity equals biomechanical effectiveness.
Ah, I see.
But here is where the physical reality bites back. Engineering a product to look visually striking often requires introducing elements that fight against natural human movement.
Okay, give me a concrete example of how that works. Like, how does making something look good actively ruin its mechanics?
Sure. Consider the rigid plastic accents or the really heavy textured straps you see on highly marketed braces.
Yeah, the ones that look like armor.
Right. In a 3D render online, those extra layers look highly technical. They look aggressive and modern. But in reality, every extra seam is a potential friction point against the skin.
Ouch, yeah.
And every rigid, non-elastic aesthetic patch alters the tension of the fabric. So when a brand allocates its budget and its design focus toward creating a recognizable silhouette or, a flashy logo placement.
They're pulling resources away from the actual purpose of the thing.
Precisely. They're pulling away from the core requirements of recovery. Things like fabric elasticity, breathability, targeted compression.
Wow.
And the end user is the one who pays the price. And as the source points out, you aren't just paying financially. You're paying in joint pain, restricted mobility, and prolonged recovery times.
Because the gear fundamentally lacks the structural integrity to support you.
Yeah, to support the kinetic energy of your movements.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You're essentially paying for the billboard, and the billboard is giving you blisters. So the text points out that Enkiii Sport emerged specifically to put an end to this dynamic, right? To prioritize the performance inside the fabric over the brand name stamped on the outside.
That's their whole ethos, yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting. If the current market is built entirely on this shaky foundation of hype, it forces us to ask who's actually stepping in to design these alternatives.
Right. Who is making the gear now?
Yeah, and the core thesis of the transcript we're analyzing is that Enkiisport was built by the users themselves. It's an attempt to replace corporate guesswork with lived physical experience.
It is a really stark contrast, and the text paints a very specific picture of how the industry usually operates.
Suits in a boardroom.
Pretty much. It describes designers sitting in corporate offices, completely isolated from any actual physical exertion, trying to guess what an athlete or, say, a warehouse worker needs.
Looking at spreadsheets and focus groups.
Right. They're looking at profit margins and data to design a knee brace. But the alternative presented by ENKII Sport is gear built by people who genuinely understand the physical toll of wearing a brace during an intense workout or a 12-hour shift.
I mean, I understand the appeal of that narrative. It's the classic difference between a marketer designing a tool versus a mechanic who actually wrenches on cars all day designing it.
That's a perfect parallel.
Right. The marketer designs a wrench that looks heavy and intimidating in a catalog photograph. But the mechanic designs a wrench with a specific knurling on the handle so it doesn't slip when your hands are covered in motor oil.
Because the mechanic understands the physical physics of the job.
Exactly. But I have to push back on this athlete-creator premise just a little bit.
Okay, sure.
Just because I experienced the discomfort of a terrible knee brace doesn't mean I suddenly possess the engineering knowledge to build a better one, right? Like if I hit my thumb with a hammer, I know the hammer hurts. But I don't automatically know how to forge better steel.
That's fair.
So how does the source text bridge this massive gap between simply being a frustrated user and being a competent biomechanical creator?
Well, that is the critical friction point. And the source material navigates it by focusing heavily on the concept of empirical testing.
Testing it out in the real world.
Right. The value doesn't magically appear just because someone is frustrated. It is generated through an obsessive, iterative process of trial and error in the field.
Oh, okay.
The text explicitly states that the creators used these products themselves and tested them rigorously. This isn't about slapping a new, quote-unquote, authentic label on the same old factory product.
They're actually doing the work.
Yes. The creators are spending hours training, lifting, running, and moving. When you are the one designing the gear, and you are also the one running 5 miles in it, the flaws of over-designed corporate gear are no longer abstract data points on a spreadsheet.
They're immediate, painful realities.
Exactly.
Right, because if you design a brace with a thick, unyielding strap across the back of the knee just because it looks cool, you're going to feel that strap dig into your skin on mile 2.
And more importantly, you have the agency to change it.
Right.
A corporate designer might leave the strap because the marketing department says it tests well visually, but the athlete creator removes the strap because their lived experience demands utility and comfort above all else.
That makes total sense.
It's that continuous feedback loop, designing, testing on your own body, feeling the failure, and redesigning. That is what the text argues makes ENKII Sport gear feel practical and genuinely useful.
They strip away the unnecessary elements because they're engineering for their own physical survival in the gym.
Yes, they are solving for actual friction, not visual appeal.
Which naturally moves us from the philosophy of the design process into the actual physical biomechanics of the user.
Well, the physical reality.
Right. Because the materials don't just use vague, inspirational buzzwords about sports or winning. The text gets highly specific about the physical toll the body takes.
It really does.
It targets knee pain, muscle fatigue, ankle stress, and the critical need for lower back support. It talks about people spending hours recovering, relying on products that have to perform in the real world.
Yeah.
So for you, the listener, who might just be trying to get through a heavy workday or a weekend run without aching, let's break down the science of that.
Yeah.
What happens to the body when we rely on that corporate aesthetic-first gear we were just talking about?
Well, this raises an important question about how we look at the compounding nature of physical fatigue. Yeah,
Compounding.
compounding. When the text highlights issues like ankle stress and knee pain, it is pointing to joints that bear the entire kinetic load of the human body.
Oh, right. Every step you take.
Exactly. So let's say you are wearing a generic, poorly designed knee brace. Because it lacks structural durability, it quickly loses its elasticity.
It just stretches out.
Yes. And when that fabric stretches out and fails to provide adequate compression, your joint suddenly has to absorb more micro impacts with every single step. But it gets worse because the body is an interconnected chain.
Right, the compensatory movement.
Precisely. If that poorly designed brace is slipping, or if a bulky strap is pinching the back of your leg, your brain subconsciously alters your gait to avoid the discomfort.
You don't even realize you're doing it.
No, you don't. You start stepping slightly differently. You might favor your other leg. And that tiny alteration in your mechanics leads directly to what the source text identifies as muscle fatigue.
Oh, wow. So you fix one problem but create three more.
Exactly. Suddenly, your hips ache, your lower back is in spasm, and your original knee pain is actually worse. The physical realities of recovery are incredibly unforgiving.
That's brutal.
It is. And corporate guesswork fails here because a computer simulation just cannot accurately replicate the complex, compounding breakdown of human movement over a grueling 3-hour period.
That really puts a completely different spin on the word performance.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, in the athletic gear space, we are almost always sold performance as this elite, top-tier achievement. Like the marketing shows someone shaving 2 seconds off a marathon time or a bodybuilder deadlifting a small car.
Right, the superhuman ideal.
But the materials we are analyzing synthesize a much more grounded definition. The text emphasizes that ENKII Sport is resonating with athletes, absolutely, but also with gym enthusiasts, active lifestyles, and just everyday people.
It redefines performance,
Yes, it redefines it as movement, flexibility, and genuine recovery.
which is a far more vital metric for the vast majority of the population. I mean, for an everyday person, performance isn't about an Olympic podium.
Right.
Performance is the ability to finish a 12-hour nursing shift without your lower back screaming at you. It's the ability to pick up your toddler without your knee buckling.
That's so true.
To achieve that level of daily functional performance, the text insists that true durability and comfort cannot just be marketing buzzwords. They have to be the literal physical antidotes to the specific joint stress we just discussed.
It has to actually work.
Right. The gear has to act as a seamless extension of the human body, providing proprioceptive feedback and mechanical stabilization without cutting off circulation or forcing those compensatory movements.
It almost sounds like we are experiencing a massive cultural exhaustion with perfection.
Definitely.
And the transcript highlights this explicitly. It notes that the reason this brand is connecting so deeply with the public right now is because Enkiii Sport feels authentic and it feels human.
A very specific word choice.
Yeah, it really seems like we're living in an era of profound hype fatigue. I mean, for over a decade, we have been bombarded with shiny, digitally altered, flawless versions of fitness culture.
Everything optimized for the algorithm.
Exactly. Optimized for the algorithm rather than the human body. Are people just finally rebelling against that?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, that fatigue is entirely real. And the source material documents it as a tangible market shift.
Really?
Yeah, the text states definitively, quote, "It's not about hype anymore, it's about effectiveness."
I love that.
Because when consumers realize that the sleek logo they paid a premium for is actually contributing to their secondary muscle fatigue, the illusion shatters.
The spell's broken.
Exactly. So the concept of a brand feeling human, as the text describes it, is incredibly powerful. It means the brand acknowledges the reality of the physical struggle.
It doesn't pretend that fitness is always beautiful or flawless.
No, it acknowledges the grinding knee pain, the frustrating recovery plateaus, the physical limits of a normal human body under stress.
So they aren't promising that slipping on their ankle brace will magically make you look like a fitness model.
Not all.
They are promising a baseline functionality that the industry has seemingly forgotten how to provide.
Exactly. They're promising, as the text outlines, quote, real support, real recovery, real performance.
Oh,
And that deeply practical approach is why everyday active people are rebelling against the corporate fitness culture. They are tired of being treated as walking billboards for a brand's aesthetic vision, and they are demanding tools that actually facilitate their own physical goals.
which brings us to the core mantra of the brand. which the transcript features pretty prominently. It's performance, recovery, next level.
Right.
And, on its face, it sounds like typical athletic marketing copy.
Uh-huh.
But based on the biomechanics and the design philosophy we've just unpacked, it actually describes a linear physical progression.
It really does.
Like you can only perform at your best if your joints are stable. You can only recover properly if your gear actually provides sustained, durable compression rather than just looking good for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, you need that cycle.
Exactly. And only through that genuine cycle of performance and recovery can you reach the next level of whatever your personal goal is, whether that's running a faster 5K or just walking up the stairs without wincing.
And a crucial part of that progression is accessibility, which the text makes sure to emphasize.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because the anti-elitist, practical philosophy of the creators extends to how they actually distribute the product.
Right.
The materials note that ENKIiSPORT products are widely available on standard platforms like Amazon, as well as our own official website, www.enkiisport.com.
Just putting it right where people are.
Yes, and this is an important detail because it completely rejects the modern marketing playbook of artificial scarcity.
No limited edition hype drops.
Exactly. They aren't relying on exclusive drops to build hype. They are making highly functional, athlete-tested gear readily available in the exact places where everyday people already shop.
That's huge.
It is. By removing the barriers to entry, they are proving that their commitment to everyday people isn't just lip service, it's built right into their supply chain.
It really all comes back to a necessary and somewhat brutal reckoning in the athletic support industry.
A very needed reckoning.
Yeah. We are observing a fundamental shift, documented clearly in this case study, from paying for the prestige of the logo on the outside of the box to demanding actual measurable performance from the fabric inside it.
Function over form.
Always. The era of over-designed, hyper-aesthetic, overpriced gear is being actively challenged by end users who were simply too frustrated by their own lingering knee pain to tolerate the status quo any longer.
Well, frustration is a remarkably powerful catalyst for innovation.
It really is.
When the end user refuses to absorb the physical cost of a corporation's marketing budget, the entire industry is eventually forced to pivot back toward utility. The materials we've analyzed today prove that when you strip away the hype, the only thing that actually matters is whether the product works when the body is in motion.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our analysis of these materials, I want you, the listener, to do a quick mental inventory.
Take stock of what you have.
Yeah. Think about your own gym bag, your work locker, or that specific drawer in your house where you keep your athletic gear. Take a hard, objective look at the products you rely on for lower back support, or the sleeves you use to manage ankle stress.
Ask the hard questions.
Right. Ask yourself, are those items actually designed to help you move better? Are they actively supporting your kinetic chain and helping you feel stronger? Or are you, right now, just wearing a very expensive, very uncomfortable marketing campaign?
It's a sobering thought.
Because the biomechanical difference between those two things is the difference between genuine physical recovery and just pretending.
You know, the materials we reviewed leave us with a deeply compelling argument.
What's that?
That lived physical experience is ultimately the greatest qualification for designing any tool meant for the human body. And this concept, it scales far beyond the realm of sports and athletic recovery.
Oh, definitely.
It forces a much broader question. Think about your daily life.
Mm-hmm.
How many other tools, digital apps, or physical products that you use every single day are currently designed by corporate executives who never actually have to rely on them?
Probably most of them, honestly.
Right. If that sleek, completely useless knee brace that fails you mid-workout is just a localized symptom of a much larger disconnect, what would our world actually look like if the frustrated, everyday users suddenly took over the design and manufacturing across all industries?
Wow. Yeah, it definitely makes you look at that shiny piece of plastic on your knee in a whole new light.
It really does.
The shift from aesthetics to actual utility is here. Until next time, keep questioning the mechanics of what you're paying for.